Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. And today we have a tank review of the brand new Tier 8 French premium medium tank, the Black Diamond, which was released today. There is essentially a pirate op going, which came out today, and you can actually earn this tank potentially for free if you're lucky by completing the new pirate challenge, where you can earn up to 20 of the pirate war chests for free. So if you are looking to get this tank, it's a good idea to complete those challenges, get your 20 chests, and see if you actually get this tank for free through your chests. If you don't, you can purchase more chests, or you can purchase this tank individually for 11,500 gold if you just want this tank straight away. But what we're going to do, we do have two replays to show off the tank today. But before we get into the replays, we'll talk a little bit about the tank, and then we'll show off and talk more as the replay progresses. So what is this tank? As I said, it's a Tier 8 French medium premium tank. And it is basically, if you've ever played the Brass, the double tap medium tank, it's the same tank, but it doesn't have the double tap. It has a single shot gun. So the best way to describe this tank, if you played the Brass, well, it's the Brass, but with a single shot. But I will go over some of the statistics today. You basically got a top speed of 62 kilometers an hour, so you can get around the map pretty quickly, and you get to that top speed quite nicely as well. You have 320 alpha on your gun, with 215 penetration on your standard APCR rounds, with a shell velocity of 1,115. On your premium APCR rounds, you have 265 penetration with a shell velocity of 1,275. You actually have some pretty fantastic concealment. I've got my concealment down in this build to 244, and you've got a reload of 7.80 with a DPM in my build of 2,461. So this tank essentially has no armour, and it's basically a cross between a light tank and a medium tank, and that's how you play it. You know, you can pick up quite a lot of assistance. In my build, I've got a view range of 499, and you've got, like I say, that great concealment, great mobility, and I've actually really enjoyed playing this tank. I've had a lot of fun playing the Black Diamond. But what I'm going to do now, I know that's only a brief description of the statistics, but I find it easier just to get into the game, and we talk more about the tank as the replay progresses. So yeah, let's start this replay, and I'll show you my crew and equipment setup as well. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1, where we are top tier on Arctic region. There is 2 enemy artillery in the game and no enemy light tank. Now, if you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm choosing to run in the Black Diamond, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. But initially my plan is, as there's no light tanks, and the Black Diamond is very much a cross between a light tank and a medium, I'm going to go and try and spot the cross, see if we can spot any targets maybe on the sniper's nest, and maybe we'll pick up some early assistance for our measure. We are going to turn around for quick exit in case we get spotted like this, but we do at least spot the tank in the sniper's nest, and we pick up a little bit of assistance. On another day we might have picked up a little bit more. Unfortunately for us, there is this enemy medium, this Indian Panzer, who's taking a decent position, and it kind of counters my position, and it does happen quite frequently, so I'll have to be careful of that, because as you can see, he's just put a shot into me, and if I stay there, it's probably going to keep happening. So yeah, I'm going to have to be very careful of that. I did want to see if I could spot the tanks already crossing, but I'm starting to think it's just not a good idea. Let's give that idea up, and we can do that in a tank like this because we have the mobility to move around the map. And we'll try something else. So I'm now planning on trying to move around the map to see more the B5 area, and then we can potentially take a good position in the C sort of 2 ridge to spot and maybe get shots at that India Panzer who was causing us a bit of a nuisance earlier on. And that's my plan so far, because so far I've not got off to a great start to the game. I've only picked up sort of 2 spots and a tiny bit of assistance, and we've lost a shot of damage already, but this game still has a long way to go yet. So I'm now going to move up and try and see if we can spot anything who's maybe pushed over this ridge, but I don't think a lot of tanks have actually come here, and I think I've got clear aim to actually cross. But as I do make my advance, we actually spot a medium tank, which I wasn't expecting to see there. It's only a tier 6 medium. I should be able to take him out. I'm happy to trade one shot if I have to, but I will try and lose my spot first, just in case it's not necessary. Maybe he loses focus on us, but he's probably going to be hard aiming me here. But I kind of need to get this tank destroyed. I do have a tank covering me though. I do eat a shot, but he gets slapped by my friendly teammate there behind us, and that was a good shot by him, being able to help us out. That's cleared that location up somewhat, picked up 1,000 assistance as well for good measure. Once we've lost our spot now, we see we've got a good position to shoot tanks like this enemy motherland there. And we're also spotting a few targets in the D2 location, but we need to try and be careful now, because there could be tanks which are kind of almost in their base at sort of G1 area, which can potentially shoot us if they're hard aiming us and we get spotted. But now I do also have the opportunity to punish this India Panzer on that position if he plays too high up, and we've almost now countered the India Panzer, which is what I was hoping to achieve from this play at the start. And looking at the mini-map, one other thing I need to be careful of is just all keep an eye on is our base. If we start to lose on the H8-9 area, I may have to go back to defend the base. But you can do that again, because I have that fantastic mobility and have that fantastic concealment. It will give me the opportunity to do that, especially when I am top tier and there's no enemy light tanks. But I got another opportunity to shoot the India Panzer. I punished him again and picked up another shot. Now, some people might say the brass is probably could be maybe better than this tank because you have the double shot. I mean, it's a fair point. I find it hard to argue with, but I kind of personally actually prefer playing this more than the brass, because I've quite enjoyed having the single shot, because it's a little bit more flexible for me. I don't have to wait for the sort of 20-second reload and able to get back into the game. And if you miss one of the shots, it kind of hurts you, where it doesn't hurt you as much in the single shot. But yeah, it is a very, very similar tank, but I don't know, I've just kind of really enjoyed playing it. Although I haven't played it so much yet, I will get some more replays in this tank for sure. I tried to get another shot into the Panzer. Unfortunately, it wasn't fully aimed, and although it hits, it doesn't pen. But I've now been alerted to the fact, keeping an eye on map awareness, that the enemy team have won our base area, or at least able to progress further into our base. And I want to get back to defend that, because I don't want to have a situation where any team are sitting in our cap circle and we get capped out. But thankfully, as I say, I have the mobility to keep moving around the map, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So far, we've got an okay start with 1,000 damage, 1 kill, and 1,000 assistance. But I would do want to get more out of this game. But there is damage going to be available to me with these two tanks crossing, and I'm glad I've come back to the base, because I wanted to get back quick enough to catch him out in the open, and I think that's what I've done. Now, this enemy tank destroyer is forcing in our artillery. He does get put onto a one-shot by our friendly artillery there, but I need him to poke up a little bit higher, just like he does, for able to get that kill. And we managed to save our little fun police there, which is good, because he can come in very helpful for us. Come the end of the game, when we're spotting, he might be able to give us some assistance there, so I'm glad I was able to help him out. And now we're going to try and get shot into the T-32 Proto. I don't pen, but I track him in place and get in some assistance from our friendly artillery for good measure there. And you can see how good the concealment is. I'm not actually in a bush here. He's just going to struggle to actually spot me. Now he moves a little bit further forward, he does. But he's got put onto a one-shot. We picked up some more assistance, and now we're on to just shy of 2,000 damage, 1,500 assistance, and more importantly, the base is now defended. So I'm now looking at that India Panzer, who is a potential two-shot to us at the moment, and I'm thinking I might be able to come back and kill this tank, which will then give me the opener to move towards their base and essentially kill the enemy two artilleries, or maybe pick up some more assistance there. Didn't quite have the shot on the India Panzer there, and there is a tank already in front of him, so he's probably looking that way. So I'm thinking I might be able to sneak up on him here, come around and get my shot into this tank and hopefully take him out, because he is now a one-shot. And our India Panzer, the enemy Indian Panzer, is doing a good job there. You see, he is killing tanks here, and he's playing quite well. So I do need to try and take this tank out if I can. As I come round though, he turns to us, and I fluffed my shot, and I probably should have aimed that a little bit longer, even if it meant I ate the shot off the India Panzer. but I rushed it to try and avoid that, and now I've got the enemy artillery, looking at us, and this game is still pretty close. I should have the kill here though on the Indian Panzer. This time I do aim my shot a little bit better. I pick up the kill. We confirm our third kill of the game. I just need to hope the enemy clickers don't land their shot. Thankfully, one misses. The other one's still looking at us, but we lose our spot. Might have an opportunity to finish off this one-shot tank. I do. I kill the enemy tank blind there, putting this back into a 4 versus 3 with 2 artilleries left and 1 enemy medium, which I believe is the Motherland. And one about, what, 4 kills, 2,000 damage, 1,500 assistance. Still got maybe an opportunity for the Top Gun. If we're lucky, we spot one of the enemy artilleries here. We're sort of shooting somewhat for a bush, so we hopefully don't get detected. We don't. That means we can probably farm this tank for free, unlit now, which is nice. Trying to get another shot for his driver. We actually damages his engine, setting him on fire, picking up our 5th kill of the game. And now we've got this 2-shot enemy Motherland. We put him onto a 1-shot. We just need to hope this artillery doesn't hit us. He's probably going to land one more shot into us, the Motherland. We are going to stop aim this, otherwise we'll run the risk of getting taken out. Thankfully, we killed the Motherland. Artillery actually does hit us. It's a Crusader, so he has a rapid rate of fire on that enemy artillery. So we've got to be careful. We're just getting out of dodge. I don't really want him to shotgun. As you can see, I'm the only tank remaining other than our 2 artilleries here. So I just need to really essentially just play around this ridge, because he can't shoot us here. I'm keeping him spotted, and our friendly artilleries are just going to shoot at this tank. So as long as I can keep him lit, I'm going to pick up the assistance at least. Although I would like to kill, because that would give me my 7th kill of the game. He shoots, it gives me enough time to put one in. Unfortunately, I don't roll high enough to kill him for our 7th kill, but the artillery does shut him down. And that brings an end to replay number 1, but with one more replay to come, which will be the tier 10 replay. So how do we get on this time? 6 kills, 3,600 damage, 2,000 assistance, 2,000 base XP. Only the first class though, but it's still a good game nonetheless. But let's move on now to the final replay of this video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay. This time we are on Proc, and it's tier 10 matchmaking with 2 enemy artillery in the game and 1 enemy light tank. So initially we are going to try and play the 1 line and essentially play as a scout for our team, which is what this tank can do. You can play, say, as that light tank and pick up the assistance because you have the mobility and the concealment. Obviously, the only thing you don't have, like a light tank, you do lose concealment on the move because you are a medium tank, which is why I choose to run silent driving as a perk. Strongly recommend that, because that's going to halve the reduction of concealment you lose on the move by running that crew perk. So our friendly light tank is already taking this bush. I don't really want to stay right in front of him, so I'm playing a little bit risky here, just extending our vision, because we do have that 2 artillery in the game. Now, I have spotted that enemy tiger mouse here, but I'm not actually in any bushes, so I haven't got any increase to my concealment, so I do have to be somewhat careful. But I am hoping, it's a tiger mouse, it's slow, our artillery should be able to hit this tank fairly reliably, to be honest, if I can keep him spotted. That's what I'm aiming for. The enemy light tank, the tier 9 light tank, is making its way though. That's awkward, so I am trying to back up somewhat here, because you can see these tanks have got detected. Yeah, I don't want to run the risk of getting slapped here. Now, I am looking to shoot the grill. I've seen if I wouldn't get detected if I shot through that bush. Unfortunately for me, I have. And yeah, now I'm on dodge, 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 get out of here. I don't want to land any big nasty TDs into me. There is a few grillers on the enemy team, a few nasty tank destroyers which can take away quite a lot of our hit points. This Death Star, for example, can take away all of our hit points in one shot, so we do have to be careful of that. But you would like to think this Death Star should be getting shot by my team here, so I'm trying to keep him spotted. I'm getting a bit frustrated that the shots aren't coming in on this tank. I'm thinking, right, I'm going to chance it again. Unfortunately, I do get spotted for it. At least he ends up getting taken out of the Death Star. But I am running a risky game here of trying to... Yeah, I could eat damage here. Thankfully, I lose a spot. That is the enemy Black Diamond again in that bush. At least we've managed to force him off that bush there, which is good news for us. We haven't managed to pick up a lot of assistance so far into this game. but you've got to bear in mind we probably are sharing that assistance with our other friendly light tank. We put a shot straight through the side of the turret of that Tiger Mouse as it was turned towards us, which allowed us to pen hit. That Tiger Mouse is on a potential one shot. We do shut him down there, picking up our first kill of the game, picking this onto 1,000 assistance. Unfortunately, I get slapped by that light tank, and now I am in danger mode. I'm on one shot to a lot of these enemy tanks. I'm trying to use this rubble, this buildings in front of us, to block line of sight until I try and lose my spot here. I need to lose this spot quickly. I do pick up some assistance at least, but I'm hoping, please, lose my spot. Thankfully I have, and I'm thinking I can't play that game anymore. That is getting a little bit too risky here. And I've decided, you know what, I might not. I'm going to try and light them a different way. I'm thinking if I can now actually move up to maybe to F3, because there's no ridge presence from the enemy team. They have no ridge presence. That might give me the freedom actually to move up here and try and spot these tanks, especially now the 2 enemy artillery on the enemy team have been taken out. That does give us the freedom, because if we do get spotted, we can just dart back down into cover. So far that play's worked out quite nicely, because now you see where we were struggling to spot those targets before, we're no longer doing it. That the enemy team can't play on that ridge, and that's going to be key actually to the victory, because it's going to force the enemy team right back now. They can no longer play that position with me here. I'm also able to spot a T-95 at the back there of the map, hoping, you know, will the artillery land a big one here, and I will have a potential for, you know, quite a lot of assistance here, because all these tanks spotted are mine. Now, if an enemy light tank does get shut down by a friendly T-95 of me, that's huge. The enemy team doesn't have any light tanks left, and I'm starting to think at this game, this is where I need to start to get a little bit more aggressive, because it's these small key moments where you can go from having 3,000 assists to, you know, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 assists very, very quickly if you're the person to spot these targets, because everyone's going to be focused on those tanks, which are essentially all sat down in the one line. Now, I don't think that was my spot on the F3005, which is a shame, but I do manage to at least land a shot into him. And now I'm thinking, the second I lose my spot, I wanted to push down the 1-2 line, but I can't actually do that now, because enemy Diamondback is, sorry, Black Diamond, not Diamondback, is countering us by playing this ridge line, and I'm also concerned he's going to full send into me. So it's important I land the first shot here. Now I've landed that first shot, he couldn't kill me if he comes in, so it was an enemy Barras, so he could have. But he actually gets shut down by a friendly TD, which is good news. There's 3 tanks remaining. The second I've lost my spot, I am going for a beat, the full send now, because this is where I'm going to make or break the game with the assistance damage. Am I going to be the first to spot them? Unfortunately, I didn't spot those targets. If I was a second quicker, I would have had all of that assistance. But I have at least spotted this tier 10 medium who's full health, so I am raping up all the assistance from that tank, you know, racking up all the assistance there, putting myself onto 5,000 assistance and 2,400 damage. I'm just trying to make the most out of this game now, and just full send, clean up. We do pick up a shot and kill into that tier 10 medium tank. One shot medium here. Can we get the kill? Yes, we can, and we wrap that game up with 5,000 assistance, 3,000 damage, which is not bad for a tier 10 map. Like I say, we could have had like 7,000 assistance if we spotted that F3005 a second sooner. That's the difference between how you can get the assistance in these games. So a decent game for a tier 10 matchmaking. Not the biggest games I'm going to have in this tank. I'm sure I'm going to have multiple larger, bigger games, which I will share with you. But I just wanted to get this replay out so you can see what this tank is like as it was released today. So I hope you enjoyed the content. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe. As always, thanks for your amazing support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!